Good morning. We're just going to give everybody a few minutes to log on if you're viewing us now. Just hang tight. We're going to give about 2 minutes until it's 11:30 to get all of our people on board. Hopefully you guys got a notification because you rang the bell, but just a few more minutes and we'll get started. Good morning, guys. I'm glad you all could join us. Just a reminder, if you haven't done so, subscribe for Currituck and Camden counties. And I am going to bring to you today how we can be physically active at home. And hopefully these tips, these are my pro tips, can help you be active too. So before I get started with today's episode of Live from Currituck Extension, just a reminder to subscribe, ring the bell, and smash the like button if you like our content. Don't forget there is some links in the description. One link will lead you to an evaluation. So after you watch today's class, if you fill out that evaluation, you can let us know what content you would like to see so that we can tailor our stuff to you guys and better serve our clients. There is a chat box to my left or right. I don't really know because it seems like it gets different every time. Contact information can be found on our website, and that you can contact me via email, probably the best way to get a hold of me right now. And otherwise, let's go ahead and get started with today's stuff. So today we're going to talk about physical activity, and first I want to talk to you guys about actually how much physical activity you need. And so the USDA recommends that adults get 150 minutes of physical activity a week, and that can be broken down into 5 segments of 30 minutes. And this is a moderate, intense physical activity. So if you're somebody who participates in vigorous intensity physical activity, you can do that for 75 minutes or 25 minutes 3 days a week. So the difference between the two is they call it the sing test. You can sing in moderate physical activity, and in vigorous physical activity, you can't sing at all. And in my case, I can't sing in either one because I can't sing standing still. So I don't typically use that as my measure. I use the conversation. So in vigorous activities, I typically can't string together long sentences without taking a breath. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're participating in physical activity as a way to test whether or not you're moderate or vigorous. And really anything that gets your heart rate up is going to be good for you. So you just want something that's going to get your heart rate up, that's going to get you breathing heavy, and really you can feel your heart pumping. So there's a lot of good benefits to that. I'll talk to you. In addition to your 30 minutes of physical activity 5 days a week, the USDA does recommend that you do 2 days of strength training. And in those 2 days, you should work the large muscle groups. And so the large muscle groups are going to be like your shoulders, your back, your core, your arms, and your legs, your glutes. So hopefully you can get in all of those as well as your 5 days of 30 minutes of physical activity. So kids are a little bit different. Kids and adolescents, they need 60 minutes a day of physical activity, and a couple of those days should be vigorous activity. So like really running, really moving, really getting that heart rate up. So keep that in mind when you are planning physical activity with your kids too. You can definitely do those family walks. They are awesome, but we really need a couple of days where they really, really get all that energy out. And being stuck inside, I bet you can identify with me. I have a small child. We can be vigorous outdoors forever so that at night I can have a break, or in the evenings. All right, so you know how much you need. Let me tell you how you can get it. So I have a couple of tips, and I think they're surefire tips to helping you get physically active. And so we'll start with the number one. My number one is develop a regimen or a routine. If you have followed anything that I've done for Extension, you'll know that I am a huge fan of routine. And there's one simple reason for that, is because it takes the guesswork out of it, like that brain power that you would need to decide if today you're going to work out or not. You don't have to have that brain power. You can use that to decide what you're going to eat or something else for the day. There's no need to put that effort in. And that's also a barrier, because you could say, well, I just don't want to make a decision about what I want to do today. Don't worry about that. Go ahead and make that decision. Develop your regimen. So if you're going to work out Monday through Friday, if those are going to be your 5 days that you're going to get your 30 minutes in, those are going to be your 5 days. You know it. And then you can add any of those 5 days can have the 2 strength training days. So that's your regimen. When you're deciding your regimen or your routine, again, go to what are you going to do that day. So each day you may decide that each day that you're going to work out, you may decide you want to add a small strength training exercise, so you don't have to spend so much time working your major muscle groups. You can break it down, those muscle groups down, and put them into different days. You don't have to do them all at once. You just want to make sure that you are working to strengthen your muscles. So keep that in mind. So what I like to do, because I like to run, is I decide I'm going to run 3 days a week, and 4 sometimes if I'm training for something I need a longer distance run. But for the most part, I run 3 days a week. So if I run 3 days a week, I know which days of the week I'm going to run and which days of the week I'm going to do strength training, because that, math tells me I have 2 more days to fill of being physically active. And since I'm running, that's a more vigorous physical activity. I can do that for 25 minutes, 3 days a week. If I'm really running. Now, if I'm just kind of cruising, I typically, will work in some other type of cardio. But I have that in my mind. Now, let's say that we have something come up and we can't get our physical activity in. Well, we know what we're supposed to do. There's nothing wrong with taking Monday's workout and moving it to Tuesday, and then moving Tuesday's workout to Wednesday, and then working out on Saturday because you couldn't work out on Monday. So there's nothing wrong with moving those days around, but you have a plan and you have an idea in mind. So some ideas for you guys to get your cardio in, because I really love to tell you guys about my ideas, and I have also picked up a couple of other ones from my family, is house chores. Is outside chores, doing the yard work, cleaning the outsides of the house, washing the windows, all that stuff, anything that's going to get your heart rate up. So technically it would be chores, could be cardio. If you're working hard at it, count it. So the other thing in my house that's super popular, and this was my son's first recommendation, is dance parties. So, dance parties not only reduce your stress level, but they are great cardio. So keep that in your back pocket for a day when you're having it's really hard day and it's raining and nobody can get outside. Dance parties. You can also do walking, running, and biking are great cardio things that you can do, as long as when you're going out to the world, you remember to maintain your social distance. When you're getting your heart rate up, a lot of times the best thing that you could do is taking this time to spend with our families. We could play some games with our kids, jumping on the trampoline, doing playing games like soccer, basketball, or baseball. All of those things are really going to get our heart rate up and their heart rate up. So that's killing 2 birds with 1 stone and spending some quality time together. So that is your regimen. Figure it out in your mind. You can even post a calendar somewhere so you have it. I keep a calendar on my phone so that I know what I'm doing each day. And then I have some more tips to help you with your regimen later. Next is to pick your space. So you are in my gym. This is my gym here. I just created it. It was one of my stay-home projects. It's an old TV stand, and what it has in it is all of my workout equipment. And what makes it easy for me is that all my workout equipment is in one space. So what you could do if you don't have all this equipment, which you definitely don't need because this has been acquired for years and years, and you really just need a space in your home that is big enough for a mat or a rug if the floor is hard for you to be able to sit down or do your movements on. Them later. So you can always do that. And then another great thing is a little tracker of some kind, whether it's a piece of paper or a calendar where you mark off what you've done or the days that you've been active. It's just something to motivate you. That's always great too. And this little thing has these doors on it here that I could put that stuff on. Again, I just did this. So I even ran out of paint. I don't know if y'all noticed, but I need a second coat here. So this is a great idea if you have a cabinet that you could put your stuff in, if you have some equipment. You don't want a barrier of you can't find what you need when you need it. That's just one more thing that's going to make you not want to work out. Okay, so we are in our gym right now, and we need to treat this space as if it was a gym. So put your workout clothes on. We're at home, we're in our loungy pants all the time, but you really should treat this space as if it is a gym for you. Eventually, when you put your workout clothes on, your mind is going to go, oh, it's time to work out. It'll get you psyched up. It'll get you motivated. It'll get you ready to go. So it's a little trick with your routine to go ahead, put your clothes on and get to the gym. In your mind, helpful is to make your workouts in times of days when you can go in sometime in the day that are kind of really set. It used to be like you wake up, you get dressed and go work out, or you come home and you get dressed and you go work out. Well, we're always home right now, and us being always home and in the evening, I hope you sign off for work at those times. You can change into your workout clothes and do your workouts then. That's a great little tip for turning your brain into that workout space. And the other time would be just, when you wake up in the morning. But not everybody's a morning person like me, and I totally understand. Just find that thing that works for you and then put those workout clothes on. That's step number one. That is totally fine. You don't have to have all of this stuff. All you need to walk is a good pair of walking shoes. If you're walking during the daytime, maybe a hat or some SPF. And most people have those things on hand. There are tons of resources online where you could find out about workouts where you don't need any equipment at all. There are tons of body weight exercises that will help you get those strength training days in without having to lift heavy weights. And if you really want to lift something, you can always lift milk jugs that I would recommend they don't have milk in them, but maybe water or sand. You can lift bags of sugar or flour or whatever you have on hand. You can lift your kids if they'll stand still, or the dog. But there are also some body weight exercises like push-ups, sit-ups, planks. Let's see, what else? Lunges, squats, all of those things are going to be great. Just body weight exercises that are going to help you build your muscle. And so I had said this before, but I'm going to say it again. There are lots of resources online. And when I mean online, you can use things like your tablets or your phone or your computer to get you those workouts and kind of help take the guesswork out of it. Right now, there are tons of streaming services that are offering free subscriptions for like long time. Peloton is linked, and they're doing a 90-day daily burn is linked in the description, and they are doing I think a 60-day, and a lot of there's Bulldog Yoga too, which is free, and the Nike Training Club, which is where one of the ones that I started with. That's always, everyone has some type of streaming service that you could subscribe to for a fee, and those fees are typically minimal. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there. If you don't pay a gym membership, you could check and see if there is a streaming service that, kind of makes you happy and makes you want to work out. And it might have a minimal fee that you could pay to work out. Some people need a little bit of motivation, and maybe that motivation is that $7 a month that you're paying for your streaming service. So keep an eye on that. There's nothing wrong with paying for things sometimes, especially if it's going to make you do it. And if you were used to paying a gym membership, you're not paying that now. Maybe you have that little extra money to spend. Also, something that is really cool that a lot of fitness studios are doing is they are live streaming. So check in your area if there's some studios that you can support by live streaming for free or minimal cost, and supporting those small businesses when they can't be open and can't physically get there. Those two can help because you might be able to interact with the instructors. So all of the things that I just discussed are linked in the description if you want to give them a look. If you're watching this recording, check it out. I promise you won't be disappointed. The very last tip I have, and I cannot stress this enough, is do not be over ambitious on day one. A lot of people will, set their alarms early. All right, I'm up. I've got my clothes laid out. I've got my space. I'm ready to go. I'm in my clothes. I'm down here in the gym. And then you just go as hard as you can. Well, if you have never been physically active, that is not a great way to start. This is a marathon, not a sprint. This is like, we're in this for the long haul. We want you guys to be physically active every day and not start being physically active today and then get hurt and never be physically active again. A great way to get hurt is to just go out, guns blazing and, hit a wall. So my suggestion is to find a small task set a big goal. So maybe your big goal is, if you've never ran before, is to run a mile. So if your big goal is to run a mile, you need small tasks to get to that mile. And if walking a mile is easy for you, then you're going to start with your running tasks. So the way I started running, the way most people start running, you run to the stop sign or the end of the street or the sidewalk, the mailbox down the driveway, whatever, pick your spot. That's where you start. And then you add a little to it each day. Because if you go all out on day one, you're going to get hurt. You're not going to want to do it again. If walking is something that you want to start doing, and I recommend if you've never been physically active or you're not really into being physically active, just walk. Walking is a great starting point for most people. It's a great way to get your heart rate up. You can do it with anybody. It's free, and it gets you outside, especially in a time when we feel like our home is all encompassing. Because we've turned our home into a gym, we've turned our home into an office, we've turned our home into a schoolroom. I turn my home into a shopping center most every day. So I'm just saying it's good to get out and smell the fresh air. Just remember that social distancing, maintain your distance from other people. And, you can even, if you're in an area where there's like high traffic on the sidewalks and stuff, maybe you pick a time when people aren't, or maybe find less populated areas for your physical activity. All right. So if there are any questions, you can go ahead and type those in the chat box. If you don't have any questions, or if you're watching this as a recording, just remember, linked about starting a regimen, or you need a little bit more help than this very broad overview that I gave you, because there are people who can feel pretty daunting to some people. But since there aren't any questions, just a couple reminders. Don't forget, subscribe and ring the bell. And a good reminder, tomorrow is Good Friday. And I was unsure if we were still observing holidays, because who knows what day it is at all. It's Thursday. So tomorrow's Good Friday, and Easter will be on Sunday. So I have been told that the Easter Bunny is considered an essential employee and will still be making his rounds. Parents, taking note of that the Easter Bunny is an essential employee and will still be making his rounds. So he will be out, and since he will be out, we're going to observe the holiday tomorrow, and we will be back on Monday with our live at 11:30. So definitely don't want to miss that. And don't forget, we have an evaluation in the description. If you like the content, please let us know. Let us know what you want to see. Fill out that evaluation. We could really use some feedback and guidance about how you guys like our lives. But that's all I have. I hope you guys have a great holiday weekend. Enjoy the 3-day weekend, and happy Easter.